Hello, we are UATV. My name is Keen, and today, November 11th, 2025, marks 3 years since the liberation of Kherson from Russian occupation. This is a day that will forever remain in the history of the city, and for the people in Kherson, it is also the beginning of a new grim ordeal, as in the daily shellings, drone attacks on civilian lives living on the front lines. This is the story that one American journalist has chosen to tell to the world by the means of documentary. Title is Kherson Human Safari. She is an independent journalist from the United States, and she has dedicated recent years to covering Russia's war against Ukraine. What she does is she travels to frontline cities and communities. She talks to people who risk their lives every day there, thus risking her own life. And she records crimes that might otherwise go unnoticed. We are honored to welcome a guest, the producer of documentary Kherson Human Safari, American journalist Zarina Zabrisky, will be joining us online.
Hi, Henry. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so very much. Well, a lot of questions, obviously, but first of all, commenting on UN findings that Russians are indeed committing a war crimes and a genocide in Ukraine, no less, you said, I quote, "I expect the United Nations findings to reach only deaf ears and for the killings of Ukrainian civilians to continue, full stop." Well, is it that bad, you think, with the United Nations?
I was very angry when I made this statement. There were reasons for it, multiple reasons. One major one being in Kherson, where I am currently based and where I have been based for the last 2 years, and I've been working here for 3, and observing people being killed on daily basis. We have at least 1 or 2 killed on the average, about a dozen injured every single day. And this is the 3rd report by the United Nations which falls on the deaf ears. And as there was a process going on, and the press conference kept being moved and eventually got cancelled, I was driven to say these very harsh words. I certainly do not expect more Ukrainians being killed. I don't want anybody to be killed anymore. But I do have a lot of issues with the accountability and with the overall process of the international teams' research and reports processing as of now. We have the Human Rights Watch report, and we have 3 United Nations reports, and so far nothing is happening to stop the killings.
Right. Well, don't get me wrong. I understand you absolutely, and I'm with you. I mean, you have interviewed that elderly woman, 84-year-old in Kherson, and then in a month you witnessed her being literally shred to pieces in what you describe as the hardest casualty of this war in your 3.5 years of covering it. So I think you understand that hardest to witness casualty might turn into hardest to witness casualty so far, if you are planning to stay and keep on witnessing and reporting. Do you understand that, Zari?
I do understand that. I mean, I've been working here for 3 years and I've seen a lot of atrocities. Unfortunately, today I was filming a small video report for tomorrow for the anniversary, and I've walked along the street and there's not one corner where I haven't seen a dead body or an injured person or a body part. So it unfortunately is ongoing, and I hope that my reporting and that our work, us as journalists, will help to stop this.
My question was why you are doing this, but I don't feel appropriate to ask, because I understand precisely why you are doing this. Being myself a war reporter, I've started as a war reporter. I've been in Bucha, so I understand why. How long did it take to work on your film? From the idea to premiere, I mean, in total, all over?
Almost 2 years.
2 years. That name, that title of you, I mean, Angelina Jolie has called Russian tactics human safari, while experiencing a drone literally flying over her motorcade, I mean, and during her recent visit to Ukraine. So Angelina Jolie has named, or better said, baptized in terms of your movie. Is there international attention yet? And if that is the case, does it help?
Yes, indeed. Angelina Jolie, during her visit in Kherson, heard the term human safari from the people of Kherson, where it's being used to call the Russian drone attacks on civilians. And it's important to understand elsewhere in Ukraine and globally that we're talking about small, short-range drones as opposed to the larger, long-range drones such as Shaheeds or their Russian replicas, because those target pretty much every city in Ukraine and beyond. They can fly as far as Poland and elsewhere in the European Union. We are here in Kherson experiencing attacks by small, what used to be called wedding drones that one would use for wedding photography or for videographing sports events, the one that one can buy in America in Target or Walmart. And that's indeed very scary. So when it just started, last July, people came up with the Safari na Людей in Ukrainian, and I have translated it as human safari. And since then, it gradually started to seep into the information field, into the English language space.
Right.
And after we gave the film this title, it helped to bring this terrible idea closer to Europeans, to Americans. And as a result, we can see stars like Angelina Jolie repeating it and throwing it back into the information space. And I think it really helps because we as humankind need to recognize that there is a new war crime and the new form of modern warfare, and that we need to come up with a new set of international laws to apply to this new crime.
Couldn't agree more, Zarina. But do you think, honestly, crossing your heart, that the world understands the scale of a tragedy as of now, what's going on in Kherson?
I don't think so. And I don't think it's actually possible to get the whole scale of this tragedy. Even being a foreign journalist here, I still only get the most of it, but not entirely, because I haven't lived here all my life, and I did lose my house to Russian bombing or my family members to the Russian drones. And this is what my crew and I tried and hopefully succeeded to do in our film, to get the voices of Chersonians into the world, to have them tell their stories directly to the people in different countries. And I think through these forms, through cinema, we can actually deliver the story just right. And we need empathy here. And I think film, unlike written words, as much as I love written word, I'm a writer, delivers it better.
But screenings in Berlin at the Documentalia Festival in Washington and in Finland, they are planned. And your film also supported, I know that, by United 24 and the United States Congress, by the way, and Human Rights Dallas and the Ukrainian Defense Forces. So how can all that to be shaped in actual support of Kherson? It does somehow, I believe. How is it happening?
Well, I believe that the public opinion really matters. And here I would like to bring up the concept that I have learned from Peter Pomerantsev, who is a scholar of Russian propaganda and modern politics overall. And he delivered the speech in Odessa at a conference speaking about reputational security. And ever since I've been talking about it, and I'm very excited about the possibilities here, because basically, to translate it into very simple language, it would be whistling under the rubble. Because if you are silent, you will not be found. You will most likely die. If you make
Right.
noise, people will hear you and they can save you. And this is what reputational security is for the press. We make a lot of noise,
Indeed.
as much as I don't want to the word, but this is for us, for press, to bring the word out and not to be silent, and to help to bring this wall of silence. And you are helping right now to do it on your show. I hope that everybody will get to see the film, which tomorrow premieres on many channels. And together with Angelina Jolie's visit and with the United Nations reports and with President Zelensky's mentioning the new anti-drone
There we
program
go.
being
Right.
in place, that it will help to save the city of Kherson.
But also, absolutely, we'll do our best to do so. Trust me on that. But a former CIA officer calls your film, I will quote, not just a documentation, but an indictment, a monument, a wound carried into the future, end of quote. Wow. Who was that?
Right, we got quite a few good reviews, solid reviews from people whose
Right.
opinions matter.
Okay.
And I'm very grateful for that, for the international and national press that we've got. Apparently, the stories of Khersonians reach out to other people, to people in other countries, because they're genuine, they're sincere. We don't have any foreign journalists voicing their opinions or talking for Ukrainians. We just have the people of Kherson telling their stories the way they want to talk, the way that
Right.
it's happening. I'm just following people as they live through these horrors, and apparently it reaches through to all the people in the other countries, and I'm very grateful for that.
Amazing job done, Zarina, indeed. If I may, what is the I know that all parts are important, but maybe what is the most important truth about Kherson that the world should know right now, you think?
There are many. It's I guess, let me try and phrase it. It's a beautiful city that is being ruined right now in real time. And I think the most important part here is the process. We still can save it. That's the truth. We still have time to make sure that it doesn't turn into a new Bakhmut or Avdiivka or Mariinka or Chasiv Yar or Konstantinovka right now or Pokrovsk. I've seen many of these cities when they were still intact, and I don't want it to happen to Kherson. And we, as a global community, each one of us can put our voices together, and if we people in the democratic countries where we have elected politicians, we can influence our politicians, our governments, to provide help to Ukraine, provide help to Kherson specifically. And that's the main truth here.
You know, I want to thank you after every your answer because it's detailed, because it's sincere, and because it's quite powerful. I can feel that. Last question for this story. What would you like to wish, if you wish anything, to the people of Kherson on this third anniversary of their liberation of the city?
I mean, from the bottom of my heart, from my bone marrow, I'm wishing them victory and peace. Just today, one of the main character lost his house. Just today, I was running from a drone trying to make a report. And I think that people of Kherson deserve to live without this horror coming from the sky, falling on them every day. They want to restore their beautiful city, to plant trees, to rebuild their houses, their beautiful historical buildings. And I wish them that as soon as possible, as much as I can, with all the feelings I have.
Zarina, thank you, and thank you again for your life, for what you're doing. You're investing it into Ukrainian future. I'm sure that not only mine, but every Ukrainian heart can say thank you for that. And that makes it 40 million people. So on behalf of 40 million people of Ukraine, I say thank you.
Well, thank you. That's quite big. But thank you very much, Henry, for this conversation. I appreciate this opportunity. And just, Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава. Дуже вам дякую. Thank you and goodbye. It was Zarina Zabrisky at UATV. Today is the 3rd anniversary of Kherson's liberation. I remind you, and we were talking about her documentary, Kherson Human Safari. I encourage you to find a way to watch it and be petrified about how cruel Russians actually are.
Началась война. Обстрел, просто какой-то хаос в городе.
Всі хотіли воювати, були готові воювати там, з лопатою, з ножом, з палкою, з охотничим ружьом.
Знову тисячі херсонців на центральній площі.
Вообще жесть, вилізти на русський ПТР.
Я тоже не бессмертна, но не страх, а злость.
По ночам ходили, стреляли просто потому, что пьяные были.
С той стороны не выпускали поехать в Херсон. И под автоматами. Слава Украине!
И я теперь такой, знаешь, что такое свобода.
Весь город, грубо говоря, это большой тир, а ты в нем мишень.
Ребята, кто же там взорвал? Зачем взорвали? Русские взорвали. О! Еб!
Сафарі на людей йде.
Здається, як дуже багато бджіл. Насправді це дрони.
Не вспіли, може кинути.
Они говорят, что они победили нацизм. Нет. Они забрали его себе.
Пока мир спит, мы здесь умираем.